How we doing, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Distorted Static Show. My name is Bill. This is Rick, and we are privileged to have in studio today Nethery.
Hi. Hey.
All right.
Hey, guys.
All right, guys. Well, first episode, we're going to work out the kinks with you, and we'll hopefully have a great conversation here. So we'll start off with Nethery. Hey, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Austin Nethery, born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. We play music around the Louisville area, travel if we can. And my band beside me, we got the drummer on my right, Mr. Brandon Marlin. And then we got bassist Micah Stroud.
All right, awesome. So how long have you guys been playing in your current lineup?
Current lineup. That's a good question. How long is the current lineup been?
Current?
Since
Almost a year.
almost a year.
Yeah.
Now Austin here, he's been playing. I mean, these are a lot of his songs, and he's been playing for a while. How long have you been playing?
Oh, man, I've been playing out since I was 18. But I'd say we all got together. I met Micah. We actually had our 1-year anniversary back in January.
Oh, did you get him flowers?
No, he got me flowers. And then we all got together with Brandon last year in June. We started practicing in about May and June.
Nice.
I was playing with Micah and his other project, Tangled Minds. I was the drummer for that for a little bit.
Okay.
And Austin came out and supported, and he was like, hey, man, we need to talk when you're done with your set. And I was like, oh, yeah, I already know where this is going. Let's do it. I was, always down to help, but then it became way more than help, and it was like, all right, I could see myself getting into this.
I agree.
Buying in.
I agree. When I first played with him in January, it was at Foxton, and it was like a one show. At that point, I don't think much, if anything, had been scheduled.
Yeah, I was like, hey, man, I need a bass player really bad. Man.
And I relate to that too, because it was sort of like, okay, I'm in for it for this. And I think I even told people, because I have the other project, and I was with Brandon too, and I was like, I'll do this. I think it'll be cool. I don't really think I'll go anywhere from this. I'll just sit in.
Sure.
And then it did. It became more than that. It became a connection, and the music is, I'm into it, so it's been fun.
So are you all like mostly original music, or do you play a lot of covers?
Oh, we play all original. We played 4th Street last year. We had 3 45-minute sets, and in the entirety of that 3 hours, we played
Pretty much all original. We did
3 or 4
few
covers.
Yeah.
That I think fit with this sound. What are the covers?
Hurricane by Band of Heathens. We
Let Her
did Tree
Cry.
by Charlie Daniel Band.
Okay.
Do Let Her Cry.
We did Let Her Cry by Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, mostly original.
All
We're
original
pretty much
from
an
that point
original
on.
band.
Well, that's great. A lot of bands get caught up in when they are trying to do originals. Oh, we can't do covers. But I think it's good to see what you as a band can do to reinterpret it. A cover that adds something new that makes it unique to yourself. And even though it's somebody else that created that, it's showing
I think it's good
your own musicianship, your own skill. I just stumbled across Small Town Titans. I guess they've been out for a little while, but new to me. And when I was checking them out, they did a little EP of covers, and they did a Folsom Prison Blues. Just been covered 1,000 times by 1,000 different bands, and some good, some great, and some should have left it alone. And they just brought a little something different to it, a little quality.
You can still make it original.
Yeah.
That's what I like. If a band that I'm in, if we do a cover at all, we got to put our own stink on it. We're not going to play it exactly like
Straight
the
up.
record, because I mean, if you want to listen to the record, you go on YouTube or something or Spotify and you listen to the record, you know.
What band is that, Rick?
Space Graces.
Space Crazy.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
I didn't pay them for that.
Gotta get it in. Got to.
I'll get you later.
So, what were some of the influences for each of you? I mean, you have your influence as a band for what you're doing now, but what were the bands that inspired you guys to start thinking like, I want to do music?
Go ahead, man.
Okay.
I think yours is the most
That's a good
important.
question. I like that question.
Progression, he said. I was around my mom, and my family is full of musicians, so they, of course, musicians, are kind of not snobby, but sure about their taste in music.
Sure.
And I got passed down Led Zeppelin and Ice Cube and like all these other different artists, and I feel like listening as a consumer and listening as a musician is different.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like as a consumer, I'll be all about some pop.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I mean, you could take away from everything. But lately, I credit a lot of my playing style to the hardcore music, like Underoath and John Bonham I already mentioned. A lot of those players are just the attack and aggression, but I listen to artists like John Legend and Usher, and their drummers are kind of tasteful, I guess. So it's I have a broad.
Yeah, those guys that are the unnamed musicians behind the big pop stars are quite often some of the best in the world.
Yeah,
Very much
you
so.
never know them.
hiding behind the big name.
I would say
I'm
the
a
bass players.
80s metalhead. With I cut my teeth on Poison, Bon Jovi,
Oh yeah,
Slaughter,
Richie
AC/DC,
Sambora.
Richie
Bon
Sambora.
Jovi.
But what I was going to mention, I was clueless that Nuno Betancourt had been playing for pop stars for years, from Extreme, for people who might not know Nuno is.
Extreme.
And Nuno is, amongst guitar heads, regarded as one of the best,
Yeah, but I think it's the bass players
Yeah.
that really make the band.
Yeah.
Says the bass player over there.
Sure.
No, you're not.
Yeah, Micah
It's
does
important.
have Micah has studied
all
some of the
The
greats
bottom
to the
end is
point.
important. I feel like me and Brandon are
Yeah.
right there. And I really like that. Because we matched on a lot of stuff. The songs enhanced and grew because we would match on different little pulls or stops seamlessly.
Yep.
And so I think Rick is right that is important.
Oh, it's-
to back that music.
I'm sure you've heard all the jokes. I mean, amongst musicians, there's all the bass player. Oh, would you even know if they're gone? Right? And the
Show
groupie
up,
jokes and like, oh, he said he was the guitar player, but he was the bass player.
Yeah, right.
Micah don't have a problem with that. Micah don't have a problem with that.
But the second a bass player ain't right, you can tell.
Yeah,
You can tell.
yeah.
And them two played together. Them two used to play together in the other band.
That goes back.
Micah's
I think
other
that goes
band
back to
project,
that.
Tangled Minds.
And
Yeah.
before we even were really a thing, and we would just play open jams,
Mhm.
and that's how I would play with Brandon.
That's right.
Like 5-6 years ago, and we would just, and that would be anything. You get musicians coming up and they want to play this, that, or it could be anything, and we'd be up, playing,
Yeah.
pulling stuff off. So that chemistry goes back for us for sure.
Oh yeah, and you got some guys with some chemistry, even if it's been this is our third different band, and some were originals, some were covers. These are different covers. I've seen
Right.
some of those core guys that are like, he's been in every band I've ever been in. I join, and then we need a bass player, and I call him up, and even if they're just doing it's a bunch of dudes doing a cover of a Taylor Swift song, which does work.
Yeah.
You can just tell them. You can just tell they know what they're doing. They're comfortable. When
Right.
something happens, and they're adjusting on the
It's
fly.
a quick fit.
Uh,
Exactly.
and it's I don't necessarily observe that as a consumer. I'm always like enjoying the show, but I am always looking for how they doing that, how they doing that.
I watch Fingers all the time.
Yeah, I try not to get caught up in it too much because I want to still enjoy
Take in
the
the whole
show.
thing.
Right.
But you can't help it if you play.
Yes.
You want to
Dive into certain things.
And like from my perspective, like every musician I see that's up on stage is better than me. You know, whether they are or not. I want to learn from them.
Mhm.
I want to see what they do different. I got a friend, and I don't want to name drop every band in the world, but plays 200 shows a year.
Yeah.
And I cut my teeth learning to play guitar as a teenager on Scorpions. Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Oh yeah.
And then 20 years into that, I got a wild hair to start playing bass. So then you're reapproaching how you play a song.
Yeah.
It's in many ways, it was kind of exciting because I'm hearing the song for the first time. So I'm watching my buddy play, and they play in a lower key. And I'm sitting there watching them like, you're playing that wrong, dude.
Yeah.
And then we're joking about it.
Yeah. You said, I've been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was before show, and then in the show, of course, they play that song, and I'm standing kind of in front of him. He mugs to just really emphasizing how he's playing it the way he needs to play it.
That's funny.
Not happening, dude. Not
Spiking
happening.
That's funny.
So, what are you guys into? I mean, whether what
Well,
got you into it, or what are you into now?
I'd say my mom got me into it. My mom was putting me on stages when I was 4. I was doing like beauty pageants and stuff.
Okay.
And I'd win every one of them.
What
Sure.
happened?
I just got ugly, Rick. I just matured,
I'm
hit
just
puberty.
saying.
But and then
Oh,
she grew me up
great.
on like Toby Keith and
Okay.
Alan Jackson and all the country
Alan
hits
Jackson, I like
and all the old school country. And then went through middle school, got into real like the Nirvana grunge, into heavy metal, and then into high school I went into rap, and really all those influences, just the hard rock and everything you could have put into this modern Louisville scene of just everything that's everyone here growing up. They got the rap, the rock, the hippie, the hip hop, heavy metal. I mean, you got everything here, and I kind of just made this thing and took every one of those and really put that into simplicity of music, so everyone can get it and everyone can understand it in the most simplest form. That's basically where my influences came from, and yeah, we created something nice. We're really digging it right now. We had a real hot year last year, and now this year we're focusing on putting out music
Mhm.
and working on our social media, and we're real excited about that. We're going to the studio tonight after this and get the final mixes done on them, and we're going to be putting them out soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully this year.
Nice.
I was
We ended up getting
checking out
tape
some of the
recorded.
stuff you've already posted online.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I like what I'm hearing. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you.
I got a question. So where can people find your music at right now?
You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, everything. We only have 3 songs out right now. For the longest, we've been focusing on, I just want to play music. That's all I want to do. Gigging. And we've been successful at that with just 3 songs out after the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's our main goal this year. But you can find all that on Austin Nethery, Spotify, iTunes, Apple, YouTube.
YouTube's
I
got
heard
a
it
lot
on-
of
I
your
heard it on
shows.
Amazon.
Yeah. We have a lot of our shows on YouTube.
Nethery
Shout out.
Official on Instagram.
Shout out local overload.
Shout out Local Overload.
So I'm gonna share one of
They
your
got
videos.
a ton of us on there.
I'm gonna share one of your videos real quick if that's okay.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be probably one that was 7 months ago. It's gonna be Southbound Drive.
Southbound Drive, the headliners. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Was that our first show with you, Brandon? It was.
Yeah, it was.
That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite shows, and
That was one of our most pristine
a
shows.
great hall. Yeah, it's just a nice place. little fuzzy, but it's real good dynamic.
Don't care about what you say, but as long as it's right, then it's fine with me. And don't you try to pull my own. Ain't that a lie? It's a cold. Surviving well, schemes for keys, and I've seen it all, so it's fine with me. And then my goes on every time I come home. My only job is to stay on the road. Stay good, man, just a heavy stroke. You got a good job with some
Yeah, a couple of moments. He's random, but
Funny how far that song has come with your backups and your all tightness.
oh yeah,
I know because I'm spoiled of your all music because you practiced at my studio area 51. But to watch your progression on how tight you all become over the last year, fantastic.
It's one of the best spaces. It's the best space I've ever practiced in and been able to be in. So thank you, man. Seriously.
You don't have to thank me.
Shout out to Rick.
Nothing that anybody wouldn't do that has availability. You know what I mean?
We appreciate it. We do.
But I'm glad you shouted out Local Overload, man. They're fantastic people.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Fender, another one. You played Fender.
Fender Denison.
Yeah.
That is one of the things as a person moved from the West Coast out to Louisville. Pretty quick, I wanted to establish, who's who, what's what, who's good in the Louisville scene. And the cooperation between artists is so much more here than I ever experienced back in my hometown.
Wow.
I mean, which is not to say there was none,
Yeah.
but it just feels like just a little bit more here. Even in terms of just people that are, different genres will still be shouting out like, hey, these people are good. They go to the shows, constantly seeing people I know are in other bands popping up at other people's shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Paying their $5 to get in, buying the beer from the bar because that's what keeps getting the bands booked, and just talking up the music and the artists and supporting each other. I think that's such an amazing thing when you get that camaraderie between.
I think so too.
Yeah.
the artists.
And then not only the musicians, there's fans out there
Oh, definitely.
that you'll see them at every show. It don't matter who it is. And they're putting it on Facebook or and they don't even play the music, but they show up and they support and they
Like
show all
you said,
kinds of
fans.
love. If you need a drink, just anything. There's some people out
Going
there
back to
so cool about it.
Phoenix Hill Tavern days. There was a lady I
yeah.
used to see all the time, a little short, grandmotherly, white-haired, always just dancing and just having a good time. And some of these would be hard metal shows and shit.
That was her place.
Oh
Yeah,
man!
so-
And then I died when I went and saw Steel Panther, and she was there, and they brought her up, and she was dancing on stage, and Michael Starr was being Michael Starr. I'm like, all right, she made it. Big
Bill,
time
to your
right there.
point, yeah, it's the camaraderie and support here between the community of musicians is pretty special. Because it's like really sometimes, most times, like we're all that we got. And I mean, like the only
Was that
people who like understands or who will show up or like appreciate exactly what you're doing because they're doing the same hustle.
Yeah.
And there is just like a community, and within the past year, I want to bring up the noise ordinance in Louisville.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a hindrance on performances, whether like that's the times that we end or people calling and saying there's an ordinance, why is there live music outside? Well, that kind of cuts down a lot of our venues and a lot of our options. Live music does not equate or attribute to crime in the area. You won't see musicians because that's really like what they're saying the root of the issue is.
Right.
Is the crime that happens while music is being performed or played in the areas, but it has nothing to do with the goers, like the people who show up or the musicians themselves?
Yeah, it's such a silly thing because the people that cause those problems are the people that are drinking too much.
Right.
Those people are going to go drink too much, act a fool, be dumb, whether it's karaoke night, live band night, or just dollar beer night.
Exactly.
But they can point at a music ordinance. And if you are in a space that's right next to some houses, I can empathize. Now, if that venue's been there for 25 years, as a lot of the venues, particularly in the Bardstown Road, speaking to our local audience here, entertainment, one of the
Highlands,
entertainment
yeah.
arts districts known as the Highlands is old homes. But these bars and venues and places that play live music have been, some of them there for 25, 30 years. And I've always thought it was annoying for a person to move in next to a venue, an airport, whatever.
And then complain about
And
it.
And then complain, yeah.
What? There's
Like-
noise? Well, yeah, you knew this was there when you moved there.
Come on. Come on.
Some people turn around and, hey, I get free music. And I love those people.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, those people live over by the fairgrounds. They get louder than life for free,
You don't complain about
man,
that one.
I would move there.
Yeah.
I would
Everyone
love
in
that.
this room, we see
It
it like
wouldn't
that,
bother
you
me.
know, like,
And Lord knows I'd be charging for some cheaper parking just to help some people out. That is a loud show. That well,
It's
I
the
mean,
name,
yeah, I
louder
mean,
than
hey,
life.
I'm for the first time. I got my vacation booked this year, and I put my layaway before I even knew who was playing, and I'm going all 4 days.
Are you happy about it?
I am happy about
good
it.
lineup.
You're gonna be doing some lives there, ain't you?
No, because I don't want to get tossed out. Those tickets cost a lot. But I can do an after show commentary, something like that, if anybody cares about my opinions on it.
You
I'm
can
pretty
get
happy
kicked out
about
for-
it. There's a good variety. I mean, I've already picked 2 nights I'm going to leave early because I've just never vibed with Slayer. Nothing against people who like that.
I'm shocked they came back together.
I'm not, because money is involved.
Uh-huh.
Bucket,
too, for
Buckets,
example.
back the truck up. This is Louder Than Life, for people who don't know, is the biggest music festival in the United States now.
In the country.
And it has been for, I think, the last 4 years. And each year has set a new record so far.
Remember when it was like 20 people going?
I didn't go that year. I did get
Way back in the
one
day.
of the years when it was down on the river before they had the current setup, which is definitely a lot better. Got handed
It's a
some-
lot better, but man, that first year they had it down there.
I know. Wish I could.
Oh my God, it was the breeze, the river, the noise,
Yeah.
the sun on the. Oh my God, it
Yeah.
was perfect.
I-
It was beautiful down there.
The
It
one
is
I
a better
got to go
setup,
to
but that I was glad I got to experience that.
Yeah, it was pretty magic for me. I went the year that Slipknot, Disturbed, Korn on a Sunday night were the headliners.
So they're all back again, I think.
Uh,
Are they all back on the bill?
Seven. When was it? I
think
was gonna say Seven Dust was there. I saw them. They're on their own tour.
Yeah.
Slipknot's there. Korn is headlining one of the
Yeah,
nights.
Korn.
Slipknot's a different night. And yeah, Disturbed. And I think they're all different
Split out.
nights. If I haven't
Korn
like committed
headline,
it to memory yet. I was super excited about that was through fluke. That was the first time I ever got to see Korn. So at this point, not in their heyday,
Right.
as the seasoned veterans, and they put on a solid show, and that was great. Saw some other bands that because you're at a big festival. That's the great thing is getting
You see all these
exposed
people you
to
wouldn't have seen.
bands you would never contemplate seeing, and I ventured off to the smaller stage. I got to see Clutch. They've been around like 25, 30 years at this point. Had one big hit back around when Limp Bizkit was in their heyday because they're a rock band that does not rap, but the lead singer decided he was going to rap with as many syllables as possible just to clown on Fred Durst, and that was a hit for him. But then they kind of went back and just went about their business, and they put on a great show with no frills, no lights per se beyond just basic ambient light.
That's pretty cool.
Walked out on stage and went, let's go, boom, and 40 minutes of
Drop the bomb.
nuts. Seven Dust had just come off stage, and I was kind of geeked because Jean had come out and was watching the show like from the crowd, but like kind of at the back. And I was like, hey, but chatted for a few minutes, watching Clutch. And so that was a fun little show for me.
Cool.
So
Is
you're
there a
talking
line
about,
up there?
yeah, this is the Louder Than Life 2020.
Motley Crue. Yeah, Motley.
Slipknot, Slayer, Motley Crue, Korn,
Judas
Seven
Priest
Dust,
down there.
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
Evanescence is there, Disturbed,
Yeah.
Clutch, Chevelle, there's
Skillet.
Skillet, man.
Yeah.
They
Tom Morello.
were on stage.
Mastodon.
They were playing that year that I got there, and that crowd was hopping.
Huh.
They do not care that it's Christian music. They were vibing with
Still
the
get up.
musicianship.
Yeah.
But there's definitely gonna be some. I'm gonna try and there's some of those bands I've seen a lot, and I know I've got the temptation to like, oh, that's gonna be good. I'm gonna try and seek out some of those smaller ones that I've heard of and see what they're about this year. It wasn't. I did 2 nights in the last one. Day 2, I discovered there was a fourth stage that I didn't. It was
Really?
tucked off this
Yeah,
random corner.
They got the small stage for locals.
Yeah, I guess maybe it was locals, but
Yeah,
there was
Matt
people
Red
over
Door
there
played
having a
this
good
last
time, and they were doing their thing. How did I miss this the first day? Because I did the tour. I checked out the vendors and stuff.
That's pretty neat. They do that. Have the stage.
Yeah, and then there's even people that will get to play in a tent, like they have a beer tent, like all the way at the back corner, and there was music coming from there. That's for people who maybe wanted a little shade, have a beer, and hear some music, but were vibing with whoever was on the big stages.
Right. It's great exposure.
So what do you guys got coming up? Anything good?
Right now, there's some shows on the horizon. I haven't confirmed them yet, and I'm still waiting on confirmation back from them. But for sure, right now we're going. Like I said, we're going to the studio tonight. We're going to be putting out songs this year, and we will have shows pop up.
We
Yeah.
sort of pick them up as we go. It's kind
Yeah.
of fun. They sort of they're there.
Yeah,
and
just
they're
kinda-
there.
Like somebody calls and said, hey, we got a show for you in Indianapolis tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And y'all go.
We do.
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah.
can't pass that up.
Well, what about a show in November 9th? You know what show I'm talking about.
I do. The only problem with that is their timeline because Mr. Austin works on Saturdays.
Sure do.
So-
Still working for the man, aren't we?
Mm.
We're working for it.
And again, where can people go to find out your dates as they come up?
The best spot is probably Facebook or
Facebook
Instagram.
page.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we will be sure to post those links for you all so that people can find those.
Cool. Sweet. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, this past
Year.
6 months we've been focused like so hardcore on the album, and it's just been like practice, grind.
So
And
is this going to be a full length album or kind of an EP kind of thing you got going?
We're probably going to end up releasing it as singles. We recorded 8, and we're just going to release singles every so often
Sure.
until we get back into the studio and play more shows and get ready to record our next album, because we have the material ready. We're just waiting on booking, getting the week off to do it. Like these songs we're about to release, like that Southbound Drive video y'all have, we're going to release that one. And
That's one of them.
we went to the studio for a week, and man, we were in there 10 hours a day. We only had so much time, and we were just
Knocked out what we
Cheers.
could.
we went to town on
I think we felt pretty good. We did 8.
We did
Got
8.
them done in that
8 and 5 days.
in 5 days, and that was
Where are you recording at?
Oh, La La Land down on Lexington Road.
shout out to Ann.
Shout out to Ann.
Shout out to Ann.
She is amazing.
Producing us and mixed us. She did a really good job. Got a great ear. She's worked with some really cool people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she has a hell of a resume.
Yeah. So she was really cool. She was fun to work with.
Are you guys likely to, at some point, like when you've got them all organized, do a physical release or?
Yes, that will definitely happen. I
Release
can't wait to give
party.
out albums just to.
I still buy.
And they,
Yeah.
some people said, 8 songs ain't an album, but what is an album?
Metallica made a career.
Yeah.
What is an album?
I don't-
these
I can
days?
see it being a vinyl for sure.
Yeah, we'll make it a vinyl. We're
People
definitely
say
gonna. I
songs
can't
should
wait
be
to have a
15
physical
minutes.
copy of it
Right.
because it's, I'm proud of it. I think we're all proud of it.
Yeah.
We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that, and this whole year of just playing music and getting that ready for that, and it shape shifted itself from each gig. Or hey, like, what happened here with this song? Well, all right, screw that. We'll take that out, put this in instead, and really Frankensteining these songs from each gig and each experience to the point where these songs work. We've had the experience and we've played with them enough to know we want this to happen when we play this or this, or
Sure.
they say this. We organize it now to where these songs are.
Plays to the point Rick made that he's seen us like develop that chemistry.
The chemistry, yeah, the chemistry and just the forgery of a song. Honestly, just just banging on them until they come out sharp. And
I like that you bring that up. A lot of bands have different processes. And some come in with I do this part, and I have something that goes with that, and the songwriter writes lyrics, and they, what riffs have you got for me? Okay, and we'll work it to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But for the working class band that doesn't have the big record contract, you hammer those out at the shows, and much the way a comedian will play little tiny clubs and see how a crowd vibes with that joke before they go and do the special. Songs evolve over time, and just because you ultimately will record it a certain way, you put that in print and stamped on a CD or LP, and it goes out to the world.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it won't change. Jam bands are one thing, but even like Blues Traveler, they did Runaround, their biggest hit. They made them still making their money.
Yeah. Still.
I happened to catch them a couple. Well, Jimi Hendrix never played the song the same way once.
Yeah, Watchtower. There's 14 different recordings of that specific song. That's just the recordings.
Yeah.
I happened to see Blues Traveler at different stages, and they weren't doing it as a jam, but I just happened to catch he doesn't sing the lyrics the same way as he did as he recorded it. He found something that just a different embellishment on one of the little lines.
A new meaning.
And I gotta admit, I liked it the way he sings it better. Or the way it evolved after it was already a huge hit for him. And then you catch it the next time, 10 years later, and he's still doing that. Like, it still works. It still fits. Oh, they did that different. Now, is the average person going to catch that? No.
Maybe not.
But, for a person that, like, you're a fan of that band, you get to be part of an evolution. The song never truly is done being written.
Right. I think I like the point you were talking about, that bands, like, it's the live playing that'll hone you in. And I like that is like, with the media and everything now, it's different, getting yourself out there. But I like that we've had that feels traditional to me, that like we've been doing it that way. We're playing out. We're trying to, like, we're scraping money, putting it together to put that to go into a studio. And like my geek on this, like the Beatles, that's one of my influences. And they were touring like Hamburg, and before they came to America, they were seasoned because they had been playing live, like you're saying. They had played live and honed themselves and they played a lot of great shows.
They bailed on Liverpool and went and spent an extended period of time in Germany. Playing the clubs there.
Just play clubs and all kinds of songs, and they covered maybe Elvis and different stuff, Chuck Berry, but they played their own stuff and they got really seasoned. And by the time they came to America, they were like, cream of the crop. These young dudes, they were playing like for crazy audience on that Ed Sullivan show, and they were ready because they had already played live like hundreds of times.
That truly is such an experience. Their explosion into popularity. Just media sensationalizes everybody, even mediocrity. But those Beatles, for a 10-year span, which is all they really were, they were kings of the world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's,
That's because of the bass player.
The songwriting.
well, I'm not going to
songwriting.
argue in that case. I
Yeah.
mean,
You know, I
there's
know
no
somebody's
denying
got a
it.
Hofner just like what they played. You know, just
Only you
saying.
can play it like that.
But
No,
I've always talked about the Beatles to these dudes or anyone. Like I'm obsessed. You know, it was like the opening the freaking Beatles songbook. You know, and play all those songs and learn those songs and like. But it's the songwriting. It's like it's
the
just
songwriting, the
that-
melodies, the understated ability of Ringo.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah, that's a good
appreciate
point.
until years later. Just the way that sometimes he'd just be in the pocket and he's holding it, and then other just,
play to the song.
you know,
Uh,
and then other ways that he would actually truly add to it. Is, you know, as I started exploring rhythm more,
Yeah.
I kind of I grew up with my parents being Beatles fans, you know, Rolling Stones, The Who, all that stuff. So as a young child, you know, you listen to whatever your parents listened to without any input. And I was lucky that their tastes were wide and varied. So I got exposed to a lot, but you know, I was born in '73.
Yeah.
The Beatles were still pretty fresh, you know.
Yeah, it's still pretty fresh.
And so it was a whole lot of Beatles, and I could write a whole lot. I know 2-3 notes, and I'm singing along because I obviously know that song. So it's like sometimes today it's become popular to bash a band just because they were popular.
Yeah.
Like, just because you like them doesn't mean the Beatles were good. And I'm like, well, clearly this person doesn't know anything.
Hey, I still haven't watched all of Game of Thrones or what's that? Walter White.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
Yeah, just
Breaking
because
Bad.
it was popular. I'm like, too many people are talking about this. There must be something up with it. But no, I always thought the Beatles were overrated until I took a music history class, and it was like, wow, like songwriting, music. I mean, like people could call them not mediocre, but like not the most elite musicians, right? But they. You know, it's also the first band like people actually gave a damn who they were. Like,
absolutely.
And it was like, oh, I like Ringo. Oh, I like this person.
Sure.
I like
I identified with it.
Yeah,
It's a good point.
and
I heard a great podcast with McCartney, and even he acknowledged, look, if we as the musicians, we were with the same quality of songwriting skills and abilities came out today, it wouldn't happen for us. He acknowledged that it was timing,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
Where you fall in
I like that.
music history.
I like that humility.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, unfortunately, it didn't come out in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're talking about people thinking bands are overrated. In this social media era, people are really quick to jump on with their negative opinions as if it's edgy. They're saying, oh, these guys that are popular, that they suck.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I remember when Five Finger Death Punch came out, and I heard their first few songs. I'm like, all right, that's something a little different. I like these guys, and then they morph. God forbid a band ever slightly change course or direction. The most exhausting music fan in the world has to be a Metallica fan. Nobody hates Metallica more than a Metallica fan.
right.
You know, and by that I mean,
you're probably right.
I haven't listened since the first 4 albums.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, you missed out on a lot of good music, man.
Yeah.
I mean, now, even on St. Anger, I can find one song I love.
Find something to get
People
with.
always
I
talk
love
about the
Frantic.
snare tone on that album.
Really.
It was so drastically different, and I think Metallica was trying to do their own Slipknot. I watched the documentary that kind of came out of them recording that. It was that Some Kind of Monster. Ended up watching that a year or two later, and it at least gave me an appreciation for where the album came from and helped me understand it. Then it helped me love the album more.
Yeah.
Right. But people just want to bash as if they're super cool and edgy because they
It makes them
something.
stand out more.
You know,
have an opinion
Nickelback.
like that.
I mean, has anybody taken more trash than Nickelback?
Mm.
Yeah.
No. And I mean, I've laughed at some
Taken more
Nickelback
than
jokes. Some have been funny, but then I'm also the one like, yeah, they suck. I bought every album and I still listen to them regularly just to make sure that they still suck. You know, And then Nickelback goes quiet for a little while. Chad Kroger chimes in on a couple jokes himself. Okay, what is it? That joke's 5 years old. Come on. And then they go out and tour.
Guess who goes to see him?
Everybody.
Nickelback's
Creed.
not bad.
Nobody
I like
hated
Nickelback.
more
I
than
love
Creed
Creed.
for a while.
Creed was
And
really good one,
I
and
got
that
exhausted
Creed
by
group,
Creed,
yeah.
or more so Scott Stapp and antics. It wasn't lost on me that 3 members went and formed Alter Bridge, which is great. Clearly, they liked playing with each other. But, time passes. I got a great friend that had a band that unabashedly played multiple Creed songs and Nickelback songs, and the crowds vibed with them every night. And then Creed comes out with a tour, and it sells out every spot within a day. So it's kind of filter out the noise of letting people, gatekeepers or just haters, tell you what's cool. I get torn. I don't necessarily run to you gotta listen when the masses are telling me something's great.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. I'll listen to it, and if I vibe with
yourself.
it, I'll vibe with it. But I'm almost more inclined when somebody's telling me something's bad. I'm like, why? We'll listen to it. And I found some cool little gems that way.
I think more often people will describe musically. If they describe something that they don't like it or it's bad, they don't, I'll feel like I don't agree with that. More,
Right.
I'll be like,
And as young men, we all get a tendency to we think we're just so cultured and smart. My taste is better than yours.
yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's me in my ear. It'd be like, I like Poison. And some dude be like, you suck. And your band sucks. And you suck because you like that band. Whatever. Right? And as you get older, you kind of realize, hopefully, you're like, all right, okay, there's enough room for us that I'll like or not like something.
There is so much out there.
I have tried so hard over the years to love Slipknot because I feel like because I'm a metal dude, I should love Slipknot. And I liked Wait and Bleed when they first came out. I'm like, all right, that's different. It's interesting. It's cool. But then I kind of didn't vibe with that. So all right. And then everybody, they're the greatest. I'm like, but I never got caught up in, Slipknot sucks. Clearly they don't.
No.
You don't rise to the top like they do. Build that culture, build
They're-
The
that
proof's in the
super-
pudding, right? I mean, they're not what they are.
They are super
by sucking.
business-like too.
Yeah.
They are a machine.
Well,
Yeah.
and they
Well, I
and
feel like
there's
a lot of
something to be
those
said
metal
for being
bands-
professional and not believing your own hype and getting caught
A lot of those metal bands, I was talking to my brother not long ago about this, are just wildly tight. Like those heavy, rock metal bands, they are really tight. The stuff they're playing. I feel like all the stuff I see of bands like that, they're really tight.
They
There's
have
a lot
those
of
stops,
quick
right? When they
movement,
need to stop, all of them stop.
And they have to be really tight to pull that off. I admire those musicians.
And so for me, just keeping an open mind, for example, continuing the Slipknot thing, I never closed-minded and shut them out the possibility that I could vibe with something. And then years later, along comes Psychosocial. And maybe it just caught me in a different place in life where I was ready to hear that. They had gotten better what they were doing, whatever. I heard that. I'm like, oh, yeah. And so that made me go back and listen again.
Yeah.
And listen to the old stuff. Oh, have my thoughts changed? I found some older stuff online. And, what are they doing now?
Thank you.
And,
That's pretty
so
cool.
I think a big thing for people as music fans, musicians, I think are more inclined to do it because you understand a little bit more about the process, and so you're more open to hearing something new because you're generally always trying to find that next thing yourself. But I think for fans, it's important to let an artist go on their journey. Doesn't mean you have to blindly love every song they put out. My favorite band on the planet is Tesla. Has been from the day they came out. Will be until that all ends. I don't love every single song.
Certain artists, I'm like one of those, they can do no wrong.
Sure.
Yep.
And until I sit back for a couple weeks off of that, Slipknot, they played a big part into how I dropped Joey Jordison freaking
Mhm.
regarded as one of the best drummers, metal drummers there has ever been. But like, you know, they changed up and switched up, and you know, I just was like, you know what, this is still Slipknot. I bet it still rips live. I bet it's like, you know, and it's still this. But there are some bands that like just do it and get away with it, and like it's nothing. Like Coldplay, like they ever evolve, like with whatever the scene goes. You don't think so?
Okay, and then as I said there, I keep an open mind. I've tried. Again, will not say they're
I'm
bad
not saying they're my
musicians.
favorite band or
No,
nothing.
no,
but
again,
I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah, oh, yeah.
they change, just like
Yes.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know, they are
Oh.
still being different.
I have a complicated
But-
relationship with the Peppers too.
I love that. They change and evolve.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's quite a few
There was a
songs though that
Pepper
are
song,
still
Brandon, I heard on the
fantastic
radio
for the
recently
Chili
that I
Peppers.
saved.
I am
I
from
can't-
the
I'll
great
find
state of
it what it was,
California, and I don't want to hear that much about it. You know, right? And they even at some point became self-aware. There was a song they released a couple years ago, probably at this point, and the video had like a street party kind of thing going where they were the band playing the street party like they were just some dudes, and the drum said that California band. All right.
I personally think some of my favorite bands are the local bands.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
haven't reached that plateau yet of, okay, we're better than you. I mean, a lot of bands do
Mhm.
when they start getting those record deals until they've been seasoned for a long time and then they calm down on it. But I mean, local bands, there's such a community. Everybody helps each other. And I mean, it's just, a lot of them are very humble.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, continuing on the Chili Peppers thing, like I never started thinking they sucked or that they weren't good. But being I'm 50, I was there for some of the early days of the Peppers,
Silly young fuck.
and they were dangerous. They were wild. They were unpredictable. Go and listen to them doing a Stevie Wonder cover. You know, Higher Ground, Fight Like a Brave, Suck My Kiss. These things that were unconventional and not, you weren't hearing that at the time. We take it for granted now because that's part of the past. And other bands that were influenced by them come up and done their thing, and so their influence is undeniable. But then with the big popularity of them taking a few chances, it was a little under the bridge kind of ballad. Became almost a safety. I felt, for me, just as a fan approaching the
Your
Chili Peppers,
interpretation. Yeah.
that they started taking it a little safe. Oh, hey, we're selling some records. This is working. And the
The
sound
radio.
kind of went stagnant. Yeah, sure, playing the radio. And I think that's a temptation. It's the same thing where people started saying Metallica sold out. And I can remember when they kind of, as a response to it, you know, the Black Album, which is still one of the best selling, for the people that still buy albums, it's still one of the top selling albums every year. But they're like, well, we just came off of And Justice for All, playing as fast as you can, and 10, 12-minute songs. What are we supposed to do? You know, can't just keep getting faster and faster. So we took a different approach. You know, and then people, oh, Metallica's not hard anymore. And Load comes out, and the first song is Ain't My Bitch. Yeah, and if you know that song, that hits hard from the opening chorus, right? And it's just up talking about people getting elitist and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that sounds pretty hard. I mean, I guess your definition of what hard is can be a little different. But I'm like, I hear anger, I hear aggressions, I hear volume,
Yeah.
hear some major chords.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Objective. Yeah, I agree.
So many people get caught up in not letting a band explore as
Develop.
artists. And it's one of the things that I like a band, even established ones, that continue to explore and take chances. You know, to keep bringing up Metallica. I mean, they did that Spike Jones album. Was it Spike they did an album? The Lulu or something. The album.
Yeah.
You know, the one that people forget so much that it's like they just want to harp on say anger. All right, well, they took a chance. They did something that amused them. nobody's forcing you to listen to it.
I've felt the same way. I don't, even with people I've not really, been ordinarily a fan of, I can find a way to respect their music and respect the change they make.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Miley Cyrus is that's more pop, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my word.
She got wild there, and that's not anything that's music I listen to, but I respect as an individual her journey.
Right.
And so thus musically, I can't.
Have you heard where her journey is lately? She's popping up on stages, jumping up with rock bands, and that deep voice that some people sounds like a smoker. That deep voice translates into some kick-ass rock and roll.
Yeah,
and
she did like Pour Some Sugar on Me on something on some like stuff like that. She's got a rocker voice,
Oh, yeah.
She's got.
I'd love to see her do a rock album.
That would
Just
be
like
cool.
just go.
Yeah, she could do it.
Yeah,
She could
she's one of those
definitely
like
do that.
I did not vibe with any of her pop stuff. I understood
Yeah.
what she was doing at the time. She was
Right.
trying to shake off the Disney,
Right.
and especially for a young female coming into her own sexuality, the antics,
Mm-hmm.
for lack of expression,
Mm-hmm.
are the easy way to do it.
She was breaking free from daddy too.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Now that she's 30, which makes me feel really old. She's coming into her own, I think.
I think so.
I've heard rumors she might be doing a rock album. I hope that you're.
Oh, I'd be all here.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I'd
She
love
get some badass musicians too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean she's definitely at that level where she can and
Yeah.
people are gonna.
I'm
come
gonna
play
do
with her.
this. You want to play
Yeah.
guitar? Yeah.
You know, I still at 50 years old get excited about finding new music. I worked hard to not be the old man that's like today's music sucks. It's just different. I think to an extent people it will never resonate with a type of music more than whatever they discovered when they were first discovering music, that teens into your early 20s. Odds are that is always going to be
The
your
first thing that resonated with you.
because you're discovering the world and you found this new thing and it's yours and you ride it for a while and all that. It actually takes a conscious effort to sit there and go, let's find new bands. But I mean, that's how I come and find guys like you. Go to the clubs. Who's new? Try to avoid the temptation of going and seeing the one that you've seen 100 times.
Right.
The term, I want to support some friends, but who else is out there?
Yeah.
So definitely excited to see what's coming from you guys. So now as we get ready to wrap up here, anything else you guys want to throw out there that you're excited about? I know we mentioned that you might have you've got at least a show, but it might turn into kind of a festival you're working on.
Yeah, I would like to make a bill from it and make it an all-day thing, but I haven't worked out the details yet or nothing like that. It's right now just an idea.
Mhm.
I know it'll be on May 25th at Never Say Die, but it could just be a few bands. I know Hero Junior's for one of them for sure. I got Sigmatic, and then it'll be us. And if
And
I
is
want to
that
make it
in
an
May?
all-day thing, it's kind of up to me. And
You said that was in May?
Rick, May 25th.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe you should talk to a promoter that puts together festivals and stuff. I'll get you a name on one right after we wrap up.
We're excited. We're gonna be looking to get you mentioned Hero Junior. We'll have them here in Louisville.
They are too cool.
Our last show was in Indianapolis, and that was really fun. That was at the Melody Inn in Indianapolis, kind of like a dive bar / hall kind of deal, and it's designed for people to spectate and come hear the music. And
Nice.
Hero Junior was who we opened for, and they were really dynamic. They were really
Yeah,
cool.
they're
And you're
awesome.
talking about humble and the local guys that are humble and doing their thing. They were like just that, really the refreshing type where it's like they're really good. You have a lot you can learn from them, but they're super
But do
down,
you need anything?
super down to earth.
Can we help you?
Yeah,
Those are the
super
best
down
people.
to earth.
And Evan's the lead guy's name, and he's just been such a big help to me personally, like showing me how to do my emails and all this other stuff, and what to do here, what not to do, you know, and things like that. Really gotten me personally into like the business side of it. And because, you know, they've been doing it for 13 years and, you know, that's half my life, you know.
Yeah.
They've opened up for some big people.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
you know, just pay them back for that, you know, get them a show in Louisville. And, you know, everything else they've helped us for, you know, they're down to earth people. They're amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that
good, too.
sincerity that comes from bands that, you know, don't get threatened by somebody coming up, you know, I don't want them threatening me.
Yeah.
Just went into a emo orchestra thing a few months back, where it was like a live orchestra playing,
Very cool.
backing up an emo band. And it seems like the emo band rotates. They're out with somebody different right now. It was a band called Hawthorne Heights.
Oh, yeah.
Who I wasn't super familiar with, but they played a couple of their own songs, but then they did performances of these other emo bands. And the guy kind of, while the orchestra would get themselves set up, would tell a story because Hawthorne Heights had played with all these bands. And he was like, these guys were super cool to us, you know, that we opened for them. And then, like, we played little dive shows. He's like, and they went on to be a whole lot more successful. All right, so here's Fall Out Boy. But he was talking about, I'm like, oh, well. But he was talking about how when Fall Out Boy wasn't anybody yet, like they were just about to get signed. But they'd been doing it for a while, and they were helping them out, and how that forged a 20-year relationship.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite eras for sure. The like Fall Out Boy and Hawthorne Heights, and like the emos, how people called it, but it became popularized through them. But yeah, to you know, back on the subject, like it's important for people to know that you give a damn about what they're doing, the local guys, and because then we can do things like we're about to be doing, and then be like, okay, well, their music are cool people, so let's all do this together. You know, let's share this experience, and then bring asses to seats.
Let's get to work.
Great.
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone can benefit when you share that mindset instead of putting up ego or you know, some kind of defensive stance. Like I see that a lot. It's like just tits for no reason. Like we're here to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like we may sound a little bit different. We may have one less member. Your drum kit may be nicer than mine, but you know, in the end of the day, we're gonna have the same eyes and ears on us. It's, you know, we can win that way. It's like how the rappers do it. Like they'll beef just to make more money, just to get more attention, to promote album sales and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not saying you should start a beef.
Yeah.
Hero Junior, dude.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
You know, if we do want a beef tour, my dream scenario is every band that Ronnie Radke from Falling in Reverse has a beef with opening, with them headlining. I think that could be a very legendary.
I've seen them play, and I've never seen so many people crowd surf. They had people breaking their necks. That's how many people were crowd surfing. And
He's a controversial guy, but I got
badass.
nothing but love for what he's doing as an artist. It's a interesting character who doesn't operate like we were just talking.
Right.
At least doesn't seem to.
Venues, artists, anybody can get it, man. It's like if you have if you're going to be Public Enemy #1 already, you know you're not going to work to be the favorite. So polarizing individual for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Polarizing. Yeah.
But just remember, all big name bands started as local bands.
And played in
That's where the
garages
support needs to be.
practice in garages. Shout out Rick and Area 51 again.
Yeah. Shout out to Area 51, place you do want to be.
Well, we're going to wrap it up now, guys. We want to say thank you for coming out, hanging out with us, and we enjoyed, talking with you guys and learning about what you guys got coming up, and we can't wait to see what holds in the future for you guys. So
Thank you, Willis.
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Thank you, Bill and
Rick.
Rick. Thank you guys very much. Distorted Static, thank you for having us on the show.
No, you're
Absolutely.
very
Our
welcome.
pleasure.
Thank